Chicago fans, brace yourselves, because a tough reality is starting to take shape behind the scenes. A defensive cornerstone is inching toward a moment that could pull him out of the city faster than anyone expected. The Bears are juggling loyalty, production, and long-term risk, and the league is watching closely for an opening. With contracts expiring and other teams ready to pounce, this situation is quietly becoming one of the most delicate decisions Chicago will face all year. It's not about talent. It's not about effort. It's about trust, durability, and dollars. And once free agency hits, emotions won't matter. Hit subscribe, smash that like button, and stay locked in because this story could change everything. Let me start this the only way I know how, by saying the name that matters most here, Jaquan Brisker. Because whether Bears fans like it or not, whether the organization wants to say it out loud or keep dancing around it, the reality is staring everyone straight in the face. Jaquan Brisker may not be wearing a Chicago Bears uniform when the 2026 season kicks off. And that reality hits harder precisely because of what he represents, what he's been through, and what this defense has become alongside Kevin Byard. Now let's separate emotion from evaluation, because that's what winning franchises are forced to do. Kevin Byard, that man is playing all-pro football. 6 interceptions, command of the back end, veteran leadership, and a football IQ that jumps off the screen every single week. At 32 years old, he's not slowing down, and if I'm Ryan Poles, I'm doing everything short of begging to keep Byard in Chicago. He's earned it. He's deserved it. He's been the stabilizing force this secondary desperately needed. But Jaquan Brisker, that's where things get complicated and uncomfortable and brutally honest. Brisker is only 26 years old, a former second-round pick, productive when on the field, respected in the locker room, and statistically consistent. Over 300 tackles, sacks, forced fumbles, interceptions. You don't stumble into that kind of resume. When Brisker plays, he plays with violence, urgency, and edge. He looks like the kind of modern safety teams want. But availability is not a side note in the NFL. Availability is the job. And that's the elephant in the room Bears fans can't ignore anymore. 3 concussions in 3 seasons, one of them serious enough in 2024 to wipe out the final 12 games and require extensive neurological recovery. That's not minor. That's not something teams brush aside during contract negotiations. That's the kind of medical history that makes front offices hesitate even when the tape is strong. And when you combine that with the groin, hamstring, shoulder, and back issues he's battled along the way, the picture becomes clear. Brisker is talented but risky. Now here comes the part that stings. Analysts are already projecting him elsewhere. Dallas, 3 years, $33 million, $13 million guaranteed. That's real money. That's the kind of offer that makes a player feel validated, appreciated, and secure. And before anyone gets sentimental, let me remind you, the NFL is not a loyalty league, it's a valuation league. And Brisker's camp knows exactly what his market could look like if he finishes 2025 healthy. Here's where Ryan Poles earns his paycheck. The Bears have 4 safeties hitting free agency at the same time. Byard, Brisker, Jonathan Owens, Elijah Hicks. You cannot keep everyone, and you should not try to. Owens and Hicks, replaceable, depth pieces. But Brisker's decision will define how this secondary is built moving forward. If you pay him market value, you're betting against medical history. If you let him walk, you're betting on youth, the draft, and Byard's leadership to bridge the gap. And make no mistake, drafting a safety is the cleanest solution. A rookie contract allows you to reward Byard without overextending yourself. It allows you to reset the position financially while protecting the roster from long-term risk. That's not disrespectful to Brisker. That's roster construction, cold, calculated, and necessary. If Brisker wants to stay in Chicago on a team-friendly deal, that conversation can happen. But if Dallas or anyone else comes in waiving guaranteed money, he's gone, and that won't be personal. It'll be business. This is the reality of where the Bears are as a franchise now. They're no longer clinging to hope. They're making grown-up decisions. They're contending. And contending teams cannot afford emotional contracts that jeopardize flexibility. Jaquan Brisker has given Chicago effort, toughness, and production. But the NFL doesn't pay for memories. It pays for projected availability. So Bears fans, let me ask you this straight. If it comes down to choosing between rewarding past production or protecting the future of the defense, which path should Ryan Poles take? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe, and lock into this Bears community. Because the decisions coming next will shape this defense for years to come.